What's up everybody, Gundam Flexing here, and today we're going to be checking out the high-grade Universal Sentry RGM-96X Jesta, the Earth Federation Special Operations Mobile Suit. And despite this kit being released in 2011, it could still cost you roughly around $20. Overall, if you're looking to get this kit, I would definitely recommend it. The different color of blue is pretty phenomenal. It reminds me a lot of the RX-78 Titan version. And just the way it's designed, it looks incredibly slick. What this model does right is it does offer you a lot of hands variants. And it also offers you a decal sheet with a very minimal sticker sheet. And before we go into the model you see in front of you, we're going to cover all the peripheries. And coming up first are the hands. So this model does offer you a lot of hands. Coming up is we have a pair of open hands. And these are typical of the high grade hands. Basically you have the back piece, you have the hand itself, you attach it, and that's the hands. You have one for the left and right, which is perfect whenever you want to hold your long range weapon, which is a rifle. The next pair of hands are going to be fists. And it's exactly the same as the previous ones. It's just a pair left and right, two pieces for each hand. Nothing can fit in between, they're just fists, and they're just really there for dynamic posing. Next one is going to be the open fists, and we currently have one open fist on the model, and it's the left one, and this one is the right one, and it's really used for either holding the beam saber or holding the end of the rifle, or the stock of the rifle. That's it. And it's also important to note that this rifle, the only hand that could operate it is the right hand. So your right hand is the only trigger hand. And then coming up next is the pink beam sabers. So it's pretty funny, you actually have a pair of pink beam sabers, which is typical of most high grade kits. However, this model only has one beam holster. And right now it is lodged into his arm, and that is the only place where you can keep it at the moment. But yes, you get two beams, not bad, but can only really use one, so you have an extra one laying around. Next is the minimal sticker sheet. And here they are. So essentially you have one giant piece there and four orange tin foils. And I used all of it but one, and one of them will go on the weapon system, but I didn't bother putting it on. But again, very minimal stickers, very easy to put on, no issues from me there. And then finally, you have the decal sheet. Decal sheet is pretty nice. Here you have the emblems here, you have the Earth Federation symbols here, and again, it's completely all optional. It even offers you large numerals at the top. Hopefully you all can see that in the reflection. Numbers 0 all the way through 0. So at the end of 9 you have 2 zeros, just in case if you want to go 80, 90 and still use the 0 in front of it. And again, you have the repeating numbers at the bottom, 0 to 0, with the end having 3 zeros in case you just want to use more. But these decals is pretty simple to use, and they're on the back of the instructions. A pretty cool thing to have. However, if you're able to use water slides or dry decals on a high grade, if you wanted to do it, I would more recommend that than using decals, because at a distance you could definitely see the lighting and the clearness of the decals. But that is pretty much it. You don't get a lot of extra pieces left over for this completed model, so that's the reason why I didn't try to cover it. But here we go. This is the completed model. If we look at the head, what I would think is really cool is that the visor in the head is an actual transparent dark orange piece, which is much better than a sticker piece. So whenever, especially high grades, whenever they come out with pieces for visors or for mono eyes instead of stickers, that is a huge plus for me. At the top here we could see some sort of helmet cover, a light bluer color, and unfortunately, unlike the snipers, this one, the visor actually doesn't slide down, so it's stationary. And what's sort of weird is that Here we see that there's 4 indents, but unfortunately you also don't have orange tinfoil stickers to accompany that, which is a little bit different from the box art, which is acceptable. And on the side here we have his radio mount right there. He doesn't have a really big collar, so you're not going to have any issues twisting and turning his head. If we look at his backpack is pretty cool. It only has like 2 thrusters, and I did put a decal right there in the center. And when I say you could add, if you try to use like water slides or dry decals, perfect reason is because you could still see the imprints of the transparent portion. But that's something very minor. This backpack is pretty interesting because it houses, or it is connected to the shield. And the shield is connected to the top portion of the backpack here. And it's actually interchangeable between the 2 sides, which I thought was pretty cool. What would have been even better is if they added the same shield and just gave you a pair, so that way you have 2 on either side. But this is the shield. See, I added a decal at the top, decal at the bottom. The shield is pretty simple, but the design is unique. It's not like a typical full shape shield. And the fact that it is connected to a backpack via a PC part right here, it could pretty much twist and turn all the way around, and the backpack will allow it to go swing back and forth. And also the PC is allowing you to do this with the shield, so it's very movable, and you could pretty much move it in line with the hand like this or however you want. It's a pretty cool concept of a shoulder guard. Again, I think it would have been pretty cool if they added a pair for this side. It's interchangeable, but it would have been nice to have 2. Nothing really cool special about his arm. On the left side of the arm, you can see where it houses the beam holster. And that is, again, only 1 beam holster you're going to get in this model, but you have 2 beam sabers. It goes in right there, and you can just easily pop it out. On the opposite end, it just houses a blank piece right here, which is probably movable, but I don't want to try to do it, and I'm just going to leave it in its position. Again, you only have 1 trigger hand, and the other open hand is his left hand. His only trigger hand is your right hand. We look at his long-range weapon system. Now, this kit, unlike some other high-grade kits, is pretty limited in weapon systems, right? You're only going to have 1 long-range system and then 1 short-range or 1 melee, which is the beam sabers. So if this kit could offer more, it could have offered some sort of secondary like a long-range weapon, like a pistol or something. But it's not bad. This weapon system is pretty cool looking. Only comes in several pieces. It's really like the barrel and then the main body, which is like a left and right piece. You put it together, and that's pretty much it. What you do want to be careful about is, I'm going to pop this arm out, or this hand out, and you'll notice that the hand or the joint is canted. I have to say that putting him in some sort of firing position where he's actually holding the weapon with both hands can be a little bit difficult because of the way his joints are and because of the limited mobility. Not to say that it's a bad mobility, but if you wanted to put it in some sort of position like you see in the box art where he has his hand gripping the weapon, it could be a little bit difficult. So you're going to have to do a little manipulation or tilt the rifle left and right, because the buttstock definitely does get in the way of the arm. Just something to keep an eye out. But they do try to help you out by canting this piece downward. Doesn't really help though. If we look at his chest, it's pretty cool. You see there is an outline of blue on top of his chest, and that is not a sticker. That is definitely a single piece, which is pretty nice. Well, it's a single piece in the fact that the outline's 1 piece and then there's a single piece that jolts through it. Nothing really special about his waist or about his mobility in his abdominal. On the side of his skirts, this is pretty cool. He has like little grenades that he's able to pull out, but these are definitely meant to be stationary. Here in the center, we see I added a decal right there. Kept it minimal with the decals. And in the center, we have another sticker, which is orange and dark blue. His skirt is able to raise and able to lower. Same with the sides, and it's pretty unique because that's not where the beam sabers go. This is the back of his skirt. Could definitely pull up, can it? Yes, it can. No, it's stationary. It is definitely stationary. Now we look at his legs. Nothing too special about the legs. One of my favorite part about it is something very small, is just this piece right here that sticks out. I thought that was a pretty cool, unique thing to do because majority of the times the legs are so bulky, it only comes in like two pieces, like a left and right or a back and front. And in the back we have thrusters behind his legs, and unfortunately the two little flaps here are immobile, but at least they're there for show. Nothing too special about his feet. You can see here that his feet does not collapse in or out because it's a single board right there. But he doesn't have any super issues with ankle flexion. He's able to do this pretty much at a good angle too. So back and forth, yada yada. One thing you do want to keep an eye out for is the piece where you attach his leg to the bottom portion and the pretty much like where the kneecap is. So if I could do this correctly by pulling it out, I may not be able to put it back in so easily, but this is how the leg is connected to the upper thigh through this PC cap right here. Or it's not a PC cap, it's actually like part of the runner. But it's a small little pillar like this, very thin. And unfortunately, if we look here into the leg, you can see mine is a little bit cut up because this is an actual PC cap right there, and that's where it connects to the bottom portion. And whenever you squeeze these two pieces, the opposite ends, where the circular is right here and here, whenever you squeeze them in and the PC cap is in the center, you can see where it's supposed to fit right in that slot right there. If you squeeze too hard, you will absolutely warp that PC cap and make it much smaller than what's intended to accept this piece. So what I had to do was I actually had to use my hobby knife and start cutting it open just a tad bit because when I was like putting it in, it just would not fit for whatever reason, and then when I looked at the cap, I realized I crushed it. So you may want to keep an eye out for that. And because I already took it out, it may be a tad bit difficult for me to put it back in. Want to try it out? Nope. All right, fits easily. So yeah, don't crush that PC cap because once you do, you may have to try to cut it open or just take the whole thing apart and go from there. So overall, this isn't a bad model. It's definitely one of my favorite designs from the Earth Federation. I think that if the Zeon has Zakus and Zulus, I think that the Earth Federation definitely has the Jesta to compete with it. It is incredibly cool looking. I love the visor, I love the blue, love the fact that it comes with a ton of hands, decal sheet, minimal stickers. I just wish that it just came with a little bit more weapon system, and having another shield right here for his right side or left side, since it's interchangeable, would have been pretty sweet. But for 20 bucks, not bad. Can't recommend it enough. You'll have a blast. It's a cool addition to your stuff. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this kit. I hope you found it informative. If you have any questions or comments, please post it down in the section below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.